Okay, if my kid said that to me, I'd be like, look, you better ask again, Satan. You know how you talk to your kids? You don't call your kid Satan. That's just me. Well, hello and welcome to Booze Reviews, the very first episode wherein I, Aunt Boo, drink booze and I's reviews movies. I may have already started drinking. Today's booze is Schlafly. Schlafly Pumpkin Ale. Ooh, Schlafly is a local brewery to me. Every fall, these seasonal spices are imbued in this beautiful amber ale, thick body richness that's warm enough to keep you nice and cozy on a cold autumn's night as you watch this shit show of a movie. The Exorcist Believer is currently out in theaters. It clocks in at a whopping 1 hour and 51 minutes, which is, it's too long. It's too much, yet still not enough. Cheers. And because we're talking about the devil, I brought my friend, the devil, to help me talk about this movie. I paid $20 to rent this movie on Prime. There are spoilers ahead, and I think I blanked out a little bit at times because it was so dumb. Spoilers ahead, because why not? I'm gonna ruin the movie the way that it ruined me. It didn't ruin me. It just kind of ruined my night, and it took $20 from me. I could have bought more pumpkin ale, to be honest with you. Let's jump right into it. So the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie, I actually liked. I think it had a great premise, a great setup, and all of the writing went into that part of the movie. All of the good writing went into the first 10 to 15 minutes of the movie that sets you up. And then you're like, great, this is a great setup to a movie. I can't wait for the rest of it. But then it's like the writers took down their pants and just took a big fat dump over the rest of the movie. My husband is getting a colonoscopy tomorrow and has to drink all that shit, you know, to make him shit. And that's how I feel like the rest of the movie goes. So we have Leslie Odom Jr. I'm going to call him Aaron Burr because, come on, guys. It's Aaron Burr.
Pardon me. Are you Aaron Burr, sir?
And I, honest to God, do not remember what his name was in the movie. I have no idea. I'm Googling it right now. I guess his name is Victor in the movie. I had to look that up. I totally forgot what his name was, but I just looked it up. It looks like it's Victor Fielding. Who the hell cares? And he and his pregnant wife start out the movie in Haiti. And it gave me sort of the vibes of the original Exorcist, where they started it out in, I believe, Iran or somewhere in the Middle East. And the old priest was looking for haunted relics or demonic relics. The film quality was different. It sort of had this yellowish overtone, and it was that flashback to the original one that is set outside of the United States, where I assume all white people think that the devil comes from. outside of the United States, in like third world countries or the Middle East. I'm not saying it. I'm saying that that's what they think. Now that I'm thinking about it, it would have been amazing to have the movie set in Haiti. Why didn't they think to do that? That would have been a great movie. Somebody write that movie. Anyway, so the lady is walking around Haiti and she's all pregnant. And this creepy little kid comes and takes her hand and kind of leads her away from the marketplace. By the way, never go with the creepy kid to a second location, just for future reference. But this one turns out okay, takes her to some kind of witch doctor that lights some incense and candles and does a little prayer, maybe, and ends up spitting on her feet. This is kind of jarring to see because, hello, I don't know, voodoo. But anyway, she goes back. She tells her husband, oh, hey, the witch doctor said the most beautiful blessing over the baby. And I'm like, is that what that was? So then they end up in a church, and it's a nice afternoon. They're just walking around Haiti, you know, no big deal. Pregnant lady gets tired. She goes up to take a nap, and boom, earthquake happens. Like I said, this was a good moment because the earthquake in Haiti is relevant enough for a lot of people to have remembered it. It's also an act of God, which I thought was a really interesting take on it. They could have really leaned into that. They didn't, but they really could have. And again, if they would have set the whole movie in Haiti, then they could have had the symbolism of the broken landscape and the mistrust in government and the fact that it still to this day hasn't recovered from that earthquake. And that symbolizes the brokenness of the spirit or the desolate landscape of the soul when, you know, the devil has taken over. But instead, they do what they do. So the wife tries to get out. She's trapped in the rubble, and she ends up going to a triage. And this doctor relays to Aaron Burr that he can't save both the baby and the lady. She has taken on an injury that if he treated the woman, they would lose the baby. And if they took the baby out, now the woman would die. So I guess there wasn't enough spit to bless both of them. I'm sorry. So the doctor turns to Aaron Burr and is like, you have to choose. Again, this was a great setup. You have conflict, immediate conflict. You have immediate tension. You have a choice. I mean, it's life or death. You have this realistic, it grounds you in the realism of an actual event that has taken place. And then I think that's what the first one did so well, is that it was so grounded in a real situation, in a real setting, that when the supernatural starts to come in, you're almost likely to believe it. In fact, so many people believed it that they stopped playing with Ouija boards, that it just triggered the whole satanic panic of the 80s. And yeah, I mean, it was a powerful enough movie and so novel for its time that it just made people believe that this was a thing that could happen. This one it sets you up the same way, and then immediately, all right, spoiler alert, this movie is bullshit, and the writing is farts. The writing is just farts. Drink. So you fast forward 13 years, and Aaron Burr is a single dad who works too hard, who loves his demon-possessed kid and never stops. And he has a 13-year-old daughter. And we are led to believe that he chose the daughter. Okay, that's a choice. They leave for school, except the daughter wants some kind of memento from this box of her mom's stuff. And what I want to know is, why doesn't she already have a memento from her dead mom? What kind of dad doesn't let a daughter take a memento or trinket or something? But the dad freaks out. He doesn't want her to have it, yada, yada. And she ends up taking this picture of her mom. The daughter doesn't look 13. She looks like she's getting ready to go into college, but whatever. Because the white girl in the movie, her friend, is going to look like she's about, I don't know, 8 years old. So they leave for school, and they get yelled at by the Karen next door who's like, take in your trash cans. And they're all like, ugh. So he takes her to school, and then her friend, who's the, 8-year-old looking white girl, gets dropped off at school by her parents, one of whom is Jennifer Nettles. So I can only assume that this family is going to be like the crackeriest crackerjack cracker family that ever existed. And damn it, I think I'm right. I think I know I'm right because I've seen the movie, kind of. So the two girls are obviously scheming something. They're little liars, pants on fires. They tell their parents that they're each going over to the other girl's house after school, so they're cooking something up. They're freaking liars, which is probably why the devil gets after them. And so after school, like a couple of dummies, they just walk out into the forest and into a hole in the ground, or sewer. I guess it's a sewer. It could be a mass grave. I don't really know what this is, except let's just call it Satan's Hole. Satan's Hole would be a great name for a gay bar. So let's just call it Satan's Hole, and they go down there and they start doing what I assume they've seen on TikTok, because that's where you learn a lot of these things. It's like what we used to play in slumber parties, that light as a feather, stiff as a board thing. They take a little necklace and they wave it over the mom's picture. And it's supposed to invoke the mom's spirit so they can talk to the dead, much like the Ouija board in the first one. But here's the thing about the first one. I don't think the Ouija board was even on screen that long, and I don't think that was the actual thing. She found it in the house. Reagan found the Ouija board in the house, and also, if memory serves me correctly, which it may or may not, comment below if I have this wrong, but didn't Reagan sort of start off with some nightmares and hearing voices or seeing weird things? It's almost like she was being oppressed before she became possessed, which, if you are familiar with the way that demon possession works, it starts as oppression and ends up as possession. Possession. It's a funny word. They dangle this necklace over the picture of the mom, and then some devil shows up. So the demon shows up, because you're going to find out later that the power is in the accessories, all right? This film would have made Tim Gunn, like, he would have loved this film. He would have been like, the power of life and death is all about accessories. I'm looking at myself. I don't do a very good Tim Gunn impersonation. But it seems like this works. But the girls go missing. And they never come home. Duh, they went into the woods together and lied about it. That's what happens. And so the parents go and look for them. The parents meet up. I thought she was with you, and I thought she was with you, and how could you be such a bad parent? Dude, this isn't the time for blaming. Your kids are missing, and they have the devil's necklace, apparently. Forget yoga pants and you know, heavy metal. It's necklace now. Okay, so other than playing the blame game with each other, the parents just suck. They're not really good at finding their kids. And this could have been an interesting part of the movie. This could have been an interesting part of the movie where they could have shown how the public reacts to a white girl missing or a black girl missing, but they didn't want to do that, which is fine. I get it. Not everything needs to be social commentary, but I think it was a missed opportunity. And also they should have set the whole thing in Haiti. I think my kid is possessed right now. I don't even know. It's like I've been trying to record this video for about an hour, which is why I'm so drunk, because this is like my third one. It's going to get good. So, actually, no. My review is going to get good. The movie doesn't ever get good. Aaron Burr, Leslie Odom Jr. is not a bad actor. We've seen Hamilton. He's amazing. He's been in some other things that he's pretty good, but he's the lead in this movie. I'm guessing here that he was told to maybe contain some of his reactions to what's happening, because in my opinion, he underacts, he underreacts. So he could be used to acting for the stage and where everything is kind of overdone and over, you know, big emotions, big reactions for the stage, right? But on a camera, you have to really bring that in. You have to really bring it down and make it intimate. But he's underdoing it. You can show some emotion when your daughter goes missing after we just watched your wife die, dude. It's like you can have a different reaction. And he does this throughout the entire movie. He makes this face that I kind of make when I'm listening to someone, but not, and I'm actually just making a list in the back of my head, but they're telling me something like really important and serious, so I have to go like this. That's what he's doing. Surprise, surprise, they find the girls, and the first thing they do is take them to the hospital, of course. And then they do all kinds of sexual assault kits, and because they found them in a barn, like 30 miles away from where they were originally, 3 days after they had gone missing. And the girls have no concept of time. They have no memory of where they've been. They just snuck into a barn. They may have killed a cow. Why? I don't know. Maybe it was just the evil. They were so evil that it killed cattle. And then weird things start happening in the hospital. They're clearly traumatized. They're evaluated, but nobody is picking up on the very subtle hints of them, banging on the glass. Oh, that's not obvious that they're full of the devil. Like, they both bang on the glass. And they both want to go home. Which, okay, sure. But the way they ask, the one girl is all, "Take me home now." And then Aaron Burr is like, "Okay, that's a great idea. Sure, I'll take you home. You seem perfectly fine and not possessed." So they take the daughters home, and they're clearly by now having some sort of connection. They are also getting real rude. And the one girl pees the bed. She's acting weird. And the dad just seems to kind of go with it. Dude, she's weird. She is acting possessed. Some stuff happens with the white girl too, but we don't give a shit. And her cracker-ass family is just, she's just there as an accessory for the movie, because I really just think they wanted to up the ante, because their thinking is, like I said, it's too much. It's like, you know what would be better than just one girl getting possessed is two, because two demons are better than one. Two demons are better than one. And their line of thinking was, let's just put more. But sometimes more isn't better. Sometimes more is just more. And arguably, sometimes more is worse, right? It's like a buffet. I don't want an Exorcist buffet. Nobody needs that. They take the girl home and she starts acting real weird. So she ends up, when did this happen? So there's a part that happens. I'm not quite sure when it happens. It could have happened when they were missing. Someone comment below when in the movie this happened. But the guy's friend, who's a Pentecostal, goes to a Pentecostal tongue-talking church, right? He brings over this woman who, for all intents and purposes, is like a naturalist. And she starts like burning sage and cleansing the room and just, you know, blessing the room. But she's burning something in there. And I can tell you right now, no Pentecostal is going to be okay with that, much less endorse it and say that this is a blessing, because I grew up Pentecostal. And aside from their recent alliance with MLMs and selling some essential oils, they aren't into that stuff. In fact, they would probably call that woman a witch and accuse her of witchcraft. And you know what? That would have been an amazing movie. So any of these scenarios would have been better than what we've been given. First of all, set it in Haiti. It could have been that original witch doctor had to cast the devil out of the girl that she originally blessed. That would have been a great movie. That would have been like this really cool dynamic. It could have been that the guy had a Pentecostal preacher that came in and was like all Benny Hinn on the guy and like falling out, and the girls were falling out, and he like take off his jacket and like wave it over him and like, you know, and someone is in the corner like fanning themselves, being like, hey, hey, yeah. It could have been something like that. So I know for a fact that I call bullshit right here, right now. I call bullshit on the Pentecostal man hanging out with the witch. Once the little girl gets home, all shit, the devil just starts letting loose. And she pees the bed one morning, and I guess that's what that was. I think she peed the bed. Anyway, the dad goes into the bathroom, and he starts running the water, which starts turning brown. And we don't know why. We don't know why the water is brown. Why is the water brown? Although they do kind of live in a janky house. Some of the wallpaper is falling in. This could be bad pipes. But honestly, I think it's meant to look like blood. But the girl's not in there. He goes in, and the bathtub is full of brown, bloody water. And instead of getting a really cool visual of like him looking into the bathtub, the girl should have been in there and like her eyes pop open or something. That would have been cool, but we didn't get that. Instead, she's right behind him, and then she starts wigging out, and she has some of her nails missing, which, ooh, heebity-jeebities. Ooh, the nails missing. Ooh, that's rough. The nails missing, guys. Oh, we can only assume that she maybe pulled them off, I guess. But she's starting to look really, really possessed now. Question, why? Like, I know when you're possessed, you start to neglect daily hygiene. But why do you instantly get gingivitis when you're full of the devil? Like, he just automatically messes with your teeth, right? It just automatically makes your teeth yellow. and gives you like those Tyrone lips, you know, like you're just like a crack addict. Why does the devil do that? And I get it. It's supposed to be, well, that's because he's sucking the life out of you, or it's the evil inside that's corrupting your... But then when the devil comes out, your teeth go back to normal. What does he just like throw some Crest white strips on his way out on your teeth and be like, my man, here's your white teeth back and your normal moisturized lips. Anyway, by this time I'm thinking, well, okay, she's clearly possessed, but Aaron Burr is not, he's not convinced. He just does not believe. He is not a believer. Oh my God, that's why they called it that. He doesn't believe in God because an act of God killed his wife. So that's fair enough, buddy. You're entitled to that. But, you know, you may want to believe in the devil because your daughter is full of him. So he takes his daughter to a mental hospital again, and there she sees the nurse. So this is really bizarre interaction. Her nurse is actually the next door neighbor that we saw for a minute in the beginning, yell at them about their trash cans and be a real Karen about it. But suddenly she's really sweet, and she's really sweet to the girl. So I was like, okay, this is a moment. The nurse isn't a very good actress either. I don't know her name. Ann Dowd is the nurse. Okay, who cares? The nurse is like, man, I'm glad they found you, blah, blah. And the girl is like, Sister Mary Xavier, you aborted your baby. There's something to that extent, you know. And it freaks the nurse out, and she's like, oh, hell no, this girl's possessed. And so she tells the next door neighbor. Once he drops off the daughter at the mental hospital, he comes home, and she's standing there, and she's like, look, we need to talk. Here's a book. You're never going to read it. You're going to read the first couple pages, and then you're just going to call the lady. But she's like, your daughter knew my chosen name. So she was going to be a nun. She ended up not being a nun. She ended up having an abortion. Who the hell cares? I guess the devil does, and the Catholic Church does. And Aaron Burr is like, I don't believe in God. I don't believe in any of that shit. And she's like, well, you better, because your daughter knew some crazy shit about me that I never told anyone. And he's like, whatever, give me this book, blah, blah, blah. And so, of course, it takes him 5 seconds to end up reading the book. So he ends up reading the book. And who is the book by? Ellen freaking Burstyn. Chris McNeil was her character's name in the original Exorcist. The mom in the original Exorcist. Ellen Burstyn, who has to be like 90-something years old, looking fan-fucking-tastic. She looks amazing. She is drinking from Satan's hole or something. I'm cracking myself up with that one. He sees her, and he's like, oh, she must be an expert because she had a daughter who also was possessed. So he goes to see her because, of course, he does. And for some reason, she's an expert on exorcists, even though she wasn't even in the room when the exorcism happened. Aaron Burr. So then he brings her back to see his daughter, and she's like, oh, yeah, she's like totally possessed. Hello. She's got all the signs, right? Here's the thing, though, with her character, I feel like they wanted to bring her character back into the story to give into the nostalgia of it, but they didn't want to do anything important with the character. They didn't know what to do with her. She's the best actress in the movie. She's the get, right? But they didn't know what to do with her. And so when they figure out that, oh, yeah, his daughter's definitely possessed, Then they rush over to the white girl's house. Well, listen, some crazy shit's been going on with the white girl. They took her ass to church, and she done diddled herself in the pew in the church. That's what I assumed she was doing anyway, which is like, ew, don't do that. Don't do that. And her brother and sister were watching her like this. Now, you know damn well, if those kids were watching a girl be all nasty in church, what's the first thing they would have done? Mom, she's being all weird, right? They're not just going to stare at her and do nothing. Do they know kids? Kids are tattletales. Even in church, they would make a huge scene. Trust me, I have kids. They never shut the hell up, all right? So they take her to church, and then she wigs out over communion and is all like, the body and the blood, the body and the blood. And look, I would have done that too, because that was a boring-ass church service. We need like something. Get a little clapping now. Get some Holy Spirit up in here. Anyway, so it freaks everyone out because then she gets the devil voice, right? So the mom from the original Exorcist and Aaron Burr go over to the White family's house because they know some shit's going down. And they walk in, and it's just a shit show everywhere. And the girl has held the family hostage. A couple of them are over in the corner praying. A couple of them are like hiding out in the kitchen. And so they go up to see the girl, and yeah, she's doing some demon shit. And then she takes a crucifix from Ellen Burstyn and just like jabs her eyes out with it. So they know they need to perform an exorcism by now. And they ask a couple priests, and the priests are like, no, you're not possessed enough for us to intervene. You got to be like super duper possessed. You have to be like glowing red eyes. Your lips aren't quite as cracked out as they need to be. You're not puking green soup yet. So the Catholic Church is like, we can't f with you. We're not going to perform the exorcism. So instead of getting like an exorcist who actually knows what the f they're doing, they just make like a Friendsgiving out of it. They just invite everyone over. So they invite the pastor of the white people's church. They invite the nun from next door, who I guess is in charge of the exorcism, even though she doesn't. How does she know Latin? I guess you have to know Latin if you're going to be a nun. But she didn't become a nun because she fell in love and had sex and then had an abortion. Like, she did the whole, I mean, she's got all the sin out, right? And so he gives her the book on the exorcism. It's like, she's not qualified. She can't go toe-to-toe with this demon who already called her shit out. And so they also invite the Pentecostal guy. What the hell is he doing there? With the lady who just keeps sprinkling herbs and spices on them. And the mom and the dad and Aaron Burr. And so there's like 7 adults in this room. And at one point, they all start screaming at the 2 girls who they've tied together and made a circle around, and they're just like screaming at them. Having been a teenage girl myself, and I know teenage girls, you get 7 adults in a room screaming at teenage girls, somebody's gonna die. Someone is going to get killed. Someone will get murdered in that scenario. You don't have 7 adults screaming at the same time at 2 teenage girls. It's just not a good move. I keep thinking, Aaron Burr, why don't you just challenge the devil to a duel? I'm sure you'll win. Hamilton. And so then they start the exorcism. But there's no official exorcist. The movie is called The Exorcist. And yet there's like 7 people trying to cast the devil out of these girls. No one really has the authority to do it. There's like a Presbyterian minister there. I still don't know I don't know what religion the White family is. I'm assuming they're like Lutheran or Methodist or something like very, very vanilla pudding-ish, right? So there's no one with any like real authority to cast the demons out of these girls, and they know it. The girls know it, or the demons inside them know it, and they're like, ha ha. And the nun, she's trying her best, but all she's doing is just pissing them off. So this is the problem with this movie. It's like a barbecue. It's like they're having an exorcism barbecue. They just invited a bunch of people. This is not good. This isn't a good movie. Do you know what scared the shit out of us in the first movie was the intimacy of the first movie, was the room. It was all about that room and her bed and the oh my God, I'm so drunk. And the iconography of that moment, that she was terrifying because we were close. And the other thing is, she had a worthy adversary in the old priest and the young priest. We had already seen the old priest do some digging around, you know, confronting demons. And the young priest was having his own crisis of faith, right? The young priest was losing his mother to dementia. These were all, had just lost his mother to dementia. These were all things that made it terrifying to us, because it was such an intimate movie about something so unsettling and creepy. We didn't have any of that here. And then like the herbalist, naturalist, witch lady, it just sprinkles some, like crumbles up some dried herbs or something, herbs and spices, and she kind of sprinkles it on them like she's preparing a Thanksgiving turkey or something. I don't know. It's freaking Ina Garden. It's like, you just want to prepare the demon and cook them at 350. And if you don't have imported dried sage from a Haitian voodoo priestess, then store-bought is fine. Spoiler alert, what ends up happening is the demon tells them, look, I've got both these kids, you guys have to choose. And the mom and then the other girl's dad are like, we can't choose. We can't choose between these two. Don't make us do this. And God, what an asshole. Like, the devil is such an asshole. So like, they're like, we're not going to choose. But then the asshole dad, who's been cowering outside, it's like, nut up and go in there and fight the damn devil. But he's like, I choose my daughter. I choose you. And so I guess because he was selfish, the white girl gets pulled under, and I guess she goes to hell. Why? I don't know. She's only 8 years old. I don't know. She killed it. She crushed it. And now she's dead. She dies. She dies in the movie. They can't revive her. She dies. Like, that's fucked up. Like, why do they have to kill a kid in this movie? I don't like that. This isn't Stephen King. This is the Exorcist. You're supposed to exorcise a demon out of this girl. And she just dies. The is that? We don't know much about her. And when she was full of the devil, she was kind of an asshole. So we don't really sympathize with her. We weren't set up to care all that much if she died. We were really invested in the Black family from the get-go, which is a refreshing change of pace. I get it. I'm as woke as the next person, but not great writing. If they wanted 2 people full of the devil and one of them fucking dies, make us care more about the other girl. She shouldn't have just been there as a plot device. Oh, I forgot a really funny part. So the priest that denied them the original exorcism was outside the whole time. And so he comes in kind of like halfway through the exorcism, if you can call it even that. I'm not going to call it that, because all they were doing is just shouting at the kids. But he comes in and it's like, here the Catholic Church comes to save the day. yeah. He goes inside of the circle and he touches the girl, and then his neck twists around and they kill him. And it's really funny. It's really funny. Like, that part is hilarious because you're like, you probably shouldn't have touched him. And oh, by the way, why were you out in the car this whole time, you jerk? That's what you get for denying them the original exorcism. And don't you know you need an old priest? You need a young priest and an old priest. But what does the dad do? He runs in and gets the scarf. The mom's scarf that the girl wanted in the first place. Again, it's all about accessories. A necklace and a scarf can make or break your soul, darling. Here's the f***ed up part. That when he goes in to like, oh, I love you, baby, come back to me. It eventually works, but not until the demon totally calls him out. Turns out he didn't pick the daughter to live. It turns out he actually, this isn't funny, God. He actually picked the mom to live, but I guess the doctor did an oopsie and was like, no, when I told you you had a choice, that was just a f with you and just to make you feel guilty for the rest of your life. So the demon is like, you didn't even want me. You wanted her. And oh no, you know, that it is a good revelation. That part was good because they saved that big reveal till the end that he really chose the mom. So what happened? What happened? Did the doctor just like, he just wasn't a great doctor? I don't know. After she throws up the devil, It's like black throw up, CGI nonsense. It is scary in some points, but there's no real exorcism. What is this bullshit? One of the girls f***ing dies, and the other girl, what, she's saved by her dad's love? Is this Harry Potter? What the hell even is this? And then at the end, we keep getting these speeches about faith and believing and what believing means. It's like, no, Kirk Cameron, tone it down. I expect him to peek out of the corner at some point and ask me to invite a certain so-and-so to be my personal something. Oh, it's so heavy-handed. Oh, and what happens at the end? We finally get to see Reagan, because apparently, oh, this was the part I left out. I'm sorry. Because apparently, Reagan got mad at her mom for profiting, exploiting, if you will, her exorcism. She didn't want her to write a book about it, but she did anyway. And so they stopped talking. So she didn't know where her daughter was, right? But at the end, Reagan comes in. She didn't have any line. She doesn't have any lines. She's not... why? Just for pure nostalgia. So we're like, aw, remember when she was full of the devil? Remember that much better movie? So it took a while to get there, but that's it. And then the black girl goes back to school, or what's her name again? Angela. Who cares? And then the black girl goes back to school. Her name is Angela, I guess, and she sees her friend Catherine. She doesn't even have a last name. That's how you know someone is going to die. I'm looking at the cast name. Oh my gosh. So the black girl's name is Angela Fielding. The dad's name is Victor Fielding. The White family doesn't even have last names. You know, they're the family you're not supposed to care about. If you made it to the end of this video, what the hell is the matter with you? But also give it a thumbs up, and you can subscribe if you want. I'm probably going to do some more of these. I'm out of beer, but I'll get some more. That'll be fun. And sorry if you heard my kids in the background. That's just what happens around here. It may have made it a little spookier, hopefully. If you want me to do more videos like this, comment below and tell me. If you don't, just keep it to yourself, because you don't have to be like the devil and crush dreams. I don't know how to sign off. It's like someone in the corner could have been like, yes, Jesus. No, it could have been something like that. But, or as two demons are better than one. You, get out of here, you scamp.